Let's make it do what it do, what it do. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ramonepreston show. Today is Wednesday, October the 19th, 2022. We are live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. This is the day that the Lord has made. We are already rejoicing and we're glad in it. It's a beautiful Wednesday, W-I-N-S day. We winning over here, and I hope that you're winning wherever you are. Please do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the share button, tag Lolly Dolly everybody, and let them know. Your boy Ramon, my squad, and the Ramonepreston show. We're live right here on this beautiful Wednesday, right here in the Buckhead community of Atlanta. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about the 3 levels of growth inside your enterprise. The three levels of growth inside your enterprise. So please, while you're coming on, hit the like button, hit the share button. By now, you should have already subscribed to my YouTube page. Hopefully you have. And put in the comments what city you're watching me from. I would love to know what city you're watching your boy from. Please put in the comments what city you're watching me from, and let me know how your day is going as well. So again, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ramonepreston show. I'm your host, Ramonepreston, and every Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time, I come on this show to share information with you, to give you value, to help you start, structure, and scale your businesses and even your income streams. So whether you're a W-2 employee, 1099 contractor, a legitimate full-time, full-fledged business owner, or all of the above, what I share with you on this show are principles, concepts, strategies, and solutions that can help you properly start your businesses, structure those businesses, and at some point scale those businesses to the next level. I'm sure the fact that you're watching this show, I'm sure you want some level of financial freedom. I'm sure you're interested, you're seeking for knowledge, and you're looking for creative ways to take your business, your life, and your finances to the next level. And that's the purpose of this show. So for those of you that are coming on, be sure to just put in the comments what city you're watching me from. I would love to know what city you're watching me from. I appreciate all of you for your continued support of the show, because I don't have to necessarily do it, and you don't have to necessarily watch it. So the fact that I choose to do it and you choose to watch it and take this information and value that I give you and put it to practice, it just proves that we supposed to be doing business together. We supposed to be connected together. And so I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you as a follower, as a viewer, and just as a member of our community. Now, before I get started to talk about these 3 levels of growth inside your enterprise, let me remind you, today is Wednesday. We're 3 days away from our final live public event. I'm hosting this Saturday from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a business boot camp, and it's going to be a 4-hour deep dive on the concepts and principles around holding companies and creative tax strategies. So if you want to learn more about holding companies, if you want to learn more about creative tax strategies, especially if you are in business, these 2 concepts and principles are going to be critical to your success. There is absolutely no major corporation on this planet that doesn't utilize these 2 concepts and principles. Every corporation you can think of on this planet that's wealthy, that's trillion-dollar companies, billion-dollar companies, multi-million-dollar companies, they all utilize holding company concepts and principles and creative tax strategies. All of them. Why do you think the Amazons of the world pay little to no federal income taxes? Why do you think most of these major corporations and business conglomerates that reach every continent on the globe, why do you think that they are so massively large and they continue to expand on a day-to-day basis? Well, some of this is because of how they have built their infrastructures and how they utilize certain creative strategies that continue to allow them to minimize their taxes and maximize their profits. But they don't have to be the only ones using these principles and concepts. You can use these principles and concepts. I'm talking about just as a solopreneur. I'm talking about maybe as a W-2 employee who wants to have a side hustle. You don't just have to have a side hustle. You don't have to just be in the middle. Maybe you're a 1099 contractor or a network marketer. You don't have to just stay small just because you think what you're doing is small. You can build a legitimate organizational enterprise. You can structure it in a very strategic way so that you can utilize the principles and the concepts that wealthy companies use, and it will impact your overall net worth, your enterprise value, and it will impact your top line revenue. So again, I want you to join me this Saturday. Take 4 hours to spend with me, my wife, and my team so that we can give you the secret sauce to what we've used to do what we're doing and to become who we are and to get where we are. I want to share those concepts and principles with you. If you have not RSVP'd for Saturday's event, I need you to RSVP so that we can secure your spot, whether you're attending virtually or in person. You have a choice to attend. It's absolutely free. You ain't paying nothing but attention to show up. So if you're showing up, you ain't paying no money. You just got to pay attention, and you got to be willing and open to receive the information so that you can apply it to your life. Also, my last public service announcement before I get into today's show. Also, if you have RSVP'd or if you plan on RSVPing for Saturday's free event, I have extended a one-time special offer to everyone who RSVPs. This one-time special offer is for me to give you exclusive access to my 2 signature courses on holding companies and creative tax strategies. These 2 courses alone are on my platform, my website right now for $497 a piece. What I decided to do was to extend these 2 courses to everyone who RSVP'd, not for $994, which is the typical price for both, but for $197. I'm extending this offer to you as a RSVP registrant so that you can start learning and training and educating yourself on these concepts and principles so that even when you come Saturday, you're going to have some leverage. You're going to have an upper hand. You're going to have some momentum because you should have already started studying and educating yourself and learning these things so that you might have different questions when you show up Saturday, and you have access to these courses. You have access to my walkthrough tutorial videos on how to start and structure your holding companies, how to file and form your paperwork. I have documents and forms in this course. My creative tax strategy course is going to help you put your finances in place before the year ends so that you can know exactly where you are with regard to your potential tax liability. So again, if you want access to those 2 courses for $197, and or if you also need to RSVP, be sure to take this information down today. I want you to text the word special. Text the word special to 404. I'm giving it to you in the beginning so you can have it. 478-7213. I want you to text the word special to that number. When you text the word special to that number, you're either telling me that you want to RSVP for this free 4-hour boot camp this Saturday, or you're telling me that you have already RSVP'd, but you want to take me up on getting access to those 2 courses on holding companies and creative tax strategies, not for $994, but for $197. So you want to take me up on that offer? Just text special to 404-478-7213. Okay, so now I want to talk to you about the 3 levels of growth inside your enterprise. The 3 levels of growth inside your enterprise. So first of all, I want to say that we just finished doing some more modules that we're adding to our holding company course. So we're going to be adding some new training modules on partnerships through holding companies, asset management through holding companies. We're going to be adding some new modules on how to master the holding company, and it's going to really be very complementary to what we already have on there. What I try to do on a regular basis is I try to gather as much information as I can based on what I'm learning about holding companies, what I'm doing with my holding company, and what I am seeing other people who are successful do with their holding companies. I'm gathering a lot of that new data, and I'm packaging it in a way that we can put it on our program so that you can learn these strategies as well, and so that you can start incorporating them into your business. See, I'm one of those people that I'm always learning. Every day I wake up, I'm learning something. I'm always developing myself, training. I'm always educating myself. I'm always becoming a better me as a person, as a CEO in every area of my life. So when I learn new things and when I put new things to practice and I get results, I add that to my courses. So if you're already a part of my programs, you automatically get access to that. So within the next day or so, leading up to this Saturday, you're going to have new courses on the holding company inside of what you may already have access to. So be on the lookout for some modules within those courses on mastering the holding company, using a holding company as an asset manager, and using a holding company to create partnerships. And so while I was in the process of creating these modules, I started talking about this topic here, which is the 3 levels of growth inside your enterprise. So when you hear me say organizational enterprise, or when I use the word enterprise, everybody has their own definition. Everybody got their own version of what an organizational enterprise is, okay? But when you hear me use the term organizational enterprise, because everybody use this word enterprise, but when you hear me use the term organizational enterprise, what I am referring to is the overall business system that you have. Everything that you got going on in your overall business system. So for me, an organizational enterprise is not just your holding company here, okay? Your organizational enterprise is not just all of the divisions that you may have within your holding company. Your organizational enterprise also includes your subsidiaries. It includes any partnerships that you have. It includes all the assets, all the activities, all the operations. Your organizational enterprise to me, it describes the ecosystem of your business, the ecosystem of your business, everything that you have built under the umbrella and under the banner of your holding company that allows you to stand at the top of that mountain and be the asset manager of all of these assets, all of these businesses, all of these investments. So when you hear me talking about organizational enterprise, that's what I'm referring to. All the things that you're doing within the ecosystem of your business. And so when you look at that type of infrastructure, the infrastructure of an organizational enterprise, To me, there are three levels of growth. There are three levels of growth because there's so many things going on within that organizational enterprise. You got assets, you got intellectual property, you got copyrights, you got trademarks, you got real estate, you got operational divisions, you might have equipment, you might have business interests. All of these things that are going on, this is like an ecosystem, a world of business operations and activities going on. And when you think about how that organizational enterprise operates, there are three levels of growth. And these three levels of growth should be understood by you, especially if you plan on using a business to become financially free, or using a business to become a millionaire, or using a business to build wealth and to create a legacy. You need to understand these three levels of growth. And so I'm gonna share with you these three levels of growth, and we'll talk a little bit about it, okay? So the first level of growth is the laborer. This is the laborer. And now the reason why I like to talk about this, and I hope you can track me on this, and I'm gonna give you all three, and then I'll just kind of break each one down. You have the laborer, you have the operator, and then you have the asset manager. This is what I consider to be the three levels of growth. Three levels of growth. Three levels of growth. Come on, baby. Three levels of growth, I'll just say for short, inside your enterprise. Okay? Those are the three levels of growth inside your enterprise. I want you to write that down, and I'll talk a little bit about it. Okay, so again, when I talk about your organizational enterprise, when I mention the term organizational enterprise, you might hear me talk about it a lot because I always say, oh, what we're doing within our organizational enterprise, I'm really referring to all of the businesses, all of the investments, all of the assets, and all of the operations and activities that are under the banner of my holding company. This is what I consider to be my organizational enterprise. This is my ecosystem, my business ecosystem. But within that ecosystem, or inside that ecosystem or enterprise, there are three levels of growth. So you, as the leader of this organizational enterprise, you have three levels of growth that you have to go through. You have to go through this, especially if you intend to become a millionaire. If you intend to use this organizational enterprise that you're building with holding companies and subsidiaries, if you plan on using this to create wealth for yourself and to be financially free, you have to go through these three levels of growth, okay? So let's look at each of these three levels of growth so you can understand why they play such a very important role in how you run the day-to-day operations of your enterprise. The first level of growth is the laborer. The laborer. So all of us, when we start our businesses, we almost always start off as the laborer. Like, very few people get to start a business and don't have to labor. Very few people do that. 99% of the small businesses that exist in today's world, they are being ran by and worked by the main person who owns it, which is the laborer. You're the owner of the business, you're the CEO, but you're the laborer, okay? To some extent, I still do a lot of the labor for my business, even though I do have a team, but I still labor. I still understand that there's a certain skill set that I need as a laborer within or inside my enterprise. Here's the problem with a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners. Most entrepreneurs who become business owners, they come out of the workforce. And this could be a liability to you, because when you are working a W-2 job and you used to being in the workforce, especially if you're used to having a schedule, you're used to working for someone else, you're used to someone else doing all the legwork, and then what typically happens is while you're working a job, you start a little side hustle, right? You start doing a little stuff on the weekends or doing a little bit on your days off, or when you get off work, you try to get a little bit done before the day is over with. And it kind of starts off as a hobby maybe, or just an opportunity for you to make money. And then you kind of graduate from just a full-time employee as a W-2 person. Now you start doing a little network marketing or a little business on the side. And then maybe at some point you grow into a self-employed person. You grow into some type of independent contractor. Maybe you start your LLC and you start your own small business. But most of the times when that happens, you're still thinking like and operating like a laborer. That means you're the person who's doing all the legwork to keep your business growing. Now, of course, that is one level of growth that you should have within your enterprise. But when you start playing this wealth building game, when you start leaning into learning about holding companies and subsidiaries and creative tax strategies, you got to start thinking differently. You got to start thinking about, how can I take what I do as a laborer in my business? How can I take what I do as an operator in my business, and how can I, to some extent, exit those roles to become the best asset manager that I can become? Because at some point, if you start in holding companies and subsidiaries and you got divisions and you're trying to, create intellectual property and you want to get trademarks and copyrights and you want to create curriculum and you want to coach people and consult and be an influencer, ain't no way you're going to be doing all that thinking like no doggone laborer. It ain't no way you're gonna be able to do all that and you stuck being the operator. At some point, you gotta grow into the asset manager. If you feel me on this, I want you to really take time to receive it and to challenge yourself to make the adjustment. Because I already know 9 out of 10 business owners today, at best, they're operating as operators. They're running their businesses as operators, at best. Most of them never ever grow to becoming asset managers because they don't know how to exit the role of the laborer and the operator. So the laborer, there's a mindset that comes with that. There's a skill set that comes with that. So you have to be able to grow to a point to where you don't lose the mindset and the skill set of a laborer based on the good things that a laborer does, but the bad things where a laborer just stays stuck. A laborer just wakes up every day and does the same thing over and over because a laborer never grows. Like if you take a look at most people who just work jobs and who clock in and clock out, most of the times, unless they're challenged to, they don't grow as people. I know people right now who've been working the same jobs for 20, 30 years and they doing the same doggone thing today that they did 25, 30 years ago. They ain't growed, they ain't developed, they ain't went up no ladder, they ain't got no better education, they haven't gotten any training. They're just stuck at a certain level of being a laborer. And yes, they might be making a living, but they ain't really creating a different lifestyle for themselves because of their mindset and their skill set, or perhaps the lack thereof, as laborers. And so this is the first level of growth. But again, you want to get good enough as a laborer. You want to get good enough as a laborer because there's nothing wrong with being a laborer, because companies that are being built around laborers are companies that are actually making money. The people who are marketing are laboring. The ones who are putting content on social media are laboring. The people who are making sales and making calls, and the people who are sending emails out and giving presentations, the people who are working on research and development and making products and services and manufacturing them and distributing them and producing them and providing these products and services to the marketplace. These laborers are the ones that keep businesses growing. And so you don't want to eliminate this. You just want to take the good aspects of being a laborer and you want to continue to use that as a foundation to grow. But where you want to grow? Well, at some point you want to grow into an operator, because this is the second level of growth. Because once you start getting into operating your business, now you ain't just waking up every day trying to make a sale or just trying to put some content on social media or just work on a logo or a domain or a website. As an operator, you're now trying to grow into this level of actually having a legitimate business. Now you're trying to find people who can help labor with you. Now you're trying to operate a business system. This is where you start getting into the systems. That's why I be teaching all this to students and clients, because like there's just no way you gonna succeed in a business if you ain't got systems. And to some extent, those systems are gonna have processes. So what kind of systems you gonna need? Well, you're gonna need sales systems, marketing systems, financial systems, operational systems. You're gonna have like general operational systems. You're gonna have to have like executive systems. These are things that you have to have if at some point you want to grow into operating a legitimate business. And here's another thing. At some point, you can't do it all by yourself. I've made so many mistakes in business. And I'm trying to fix a lot of the mistakes I made in business. I'm telling you, like I made so many mistakes in business. One of the biggest mistakes I made in business was I thought like a laborer too long. And the reason why I thought like a laborer too long is because I was not educating myself on becoming this guy here. I wasn't trying to learn these things, because what I found out is in order for me to learn how to become a real legitimate asset manager, in order for me to really run the day-to-day operations of an organizational enterprise, here's what I learned. I learned that I didn't know enough. I learned that there was so much information that I needed to acquire. There was a certain mindset that I needed to obtain. There was a certain skill set that I needed to develop. And I realized that it was going to take a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of effort. And I had to give up a whole lot in order to make that happen. So it took me longer. It took me longer because for years, I didn't have a business coach. For years, I wasn't paying to be in certain rooms. Like all the stuff I preach and teach about, for years, I didn't do none of it. I didn't do none of it as a business owner. And the crazy thing is, I'm a preacher, I'm a minister. A lot of these things I did in ministry, and I never thought that, wow, I need to be doing the same thing in business. For some reason, I didn't reconcile the two. This is one of the reasons why I tried to help so many people in the faith community, because as Christians and as believers, so many times we separate ministry from business. We separate our community service from our business products and services. And when we do that, we lose a lot of opportunities. We lose momentum. We slow our process down, because I did that for years. For years, I was growing and accelerating in ministry. I was succeeding in ministry. I was a leader, a minister, a preacher, an evangelist, a pastor, and I was always moving forward. It seemed like I always progressed. But one of the reasons I was progressing like that and accelerating was because I was always around mentors. I was always learning from people. I was always in the right rooms. I was always connecting myself with people who were winning. And over here in business, I was struggling, scrapping, and I couldn't figure out why I was struggling and scrapping until one day I woke up and realized, wait a minute, why am I not winning over here, but I'm winning over there? Why is life okay on this side, but over here it's not? And that's when I realized, oh, it's because of my mindset. It's because of my skill set. I'm still moving and operating and doing business like I'm just a hustler, a grinder, a laborer. I really wasn't building a business because it was just me. And so when you get to the operators level, this is where you really have to start developing your mindset and skill set for running business systems. There's a difference. So you can tell me, oh, I'm a business owner. But if I come back when you say that and I ask you, okay, so what systems and processes do you have? Do you have systems and processes for your business? And you say, well, no, I ain't got no systems and processes. Well, the truth is you ain't really a business owner. You're not really a business owner. You can trick yourself into thinking that. I remember a long time ago, it was probably maybe 7 or 8 years ago. I remember this one CPA that I had, and I worked with him very closely, and he knew all of my data, he knew all of my numbers and my activities, and he used to always say, Mr. Preston, you're not a business owner yet. And I used to be like, I got an LLC, dog. And he used to be like, yeah, but you're not a business owner yet. You don't really hit, he used to say this, you don't really hit business owner level until you've got all these things put in place. Now, the way he had his information set up, honestly, it was hard for me to understand. You know, he was more of a technical guy. I mean, he was a CPA. He was a certified public accountant. So I really didn't understand how he did business. I didn't get it. It was hard for me to comprehend it. So what he was saying is a lot of what I'm saying today. I'm just saying it in a different way. But back then, 8, 9, 10 years ago, when I was working with him, he used to always tell me, man, you ain't really a business owner until you're somewhere up there by $1 million, and you got, basically what he was saying was, until you're operating a business that has systems and processes and staff, you ain't no business owner, bruh. You just an entrepreneur or a glorified hustler. That's what he used to tell me. And hey, listen, it may be offensive to some people. You may feel some kind of way about yourself because you want to, I know I'm a business owner. Well, not if you ain't got no systems and no processes, and truthfully, not if you ain't got no staff, because you're still the laborer. And so for years, I got stuck there. I couldn't even hire my wife. Well, number one, because I wasn't making enough money to hire my wife. My wife was like, bro, I'm not finna just keep working. Now, my wife would do anything for me. She's always supported me. But my wife at a certain point was like, bro, you got to figure out the money thing. You got to make some money, dog. Like, if you're going to be a business owner, you just can't keep scrapping and thinking that this is going to work. And she was right. My wife is one of the people that held me accountable to get my business act together and to figure this thing out. And when that happened, I put my head down and I was like, you know what? I don't want to just be a hustler and a grinder and a go-getter. I don't want to just be this entrepreneur. I want to be a legitimate business owner. I want to be an asset manager. I want to be great. I want to do this. And I realized in order to do it, I got to learn some stuff. I got to learn how to be an asset manager. I have to get the mindset, the skill set, and I got to develop it on a day-to-day basis. So these 3 levels of growth inside your enterprise. You have the laborer, you're just scrapping. So if you scrapping, that's where you at this level. If you're starting to put some systems together and processes, and you're starting to figure out how you could bring a couple people on to work with you, this is where you start getting to the operator stage. But the ultimate growth goal is to get to becoming the asset manager. That's where you want to go. And again, in order to get here, you got to exit here. You got to make an exit here at some point. You got to exit this role. You got to exit that role so you can get to this point to where you're starting. And hey, can I be 100% honest with you? Even though I am assuming this role right here, right now, within my organizational enterprise, it took me a long time to get to this point, and I'm still struggling with certain aspects of the operator and the laborer. I'm still struggling with certain aspects of it. So when I say I'm still struggling with it, on one hand, I'm struggling with letting go of certain things, because in order for me to let go of certain things, I got to replace myself. And in order for me to replace myself, I got to spend more money. I gotta train more. I gotta make sure the people I got are doing what they can do at capacity. So it's a lot of work that I gotta make sure I'm doing and that is done in order for me to freely exit those roles so I can be full-time asset manager. So my goal is for next year, my goal for 2023 is for me to really dial in on becoming more of this guy, because there are other things that I want to do within my organization that I have to be freed up to do. But I've done an amazing job up to this point, really exiting certain roles as the laborer and as the operator across my organizational enterprise. So these are the 3 levels of growth. And again, your growth goal should be to be the asset manager even while you're still having to be the laborer. Because if you're a solopreneur and you just starting out and you're just getting things together, you gotta labor. But while you labor, you can still start working on the operating things, systems and processes, and you can start making sure that you have an understanding of what this organizational enterprise needs to feel like and look like. Now, this is why I'm always talking about the holding company, because I just showed you these 3 levels of growth. But think about it. When you create a holding company and you put yourself at the top of that holding company, right? And then let's say you might have 1 or 2 subsidiaries that you need to start. You may have 1 or 2 or 3 divisions that you want to start playing with and experimenting with. Well, you can do this initially. You don't have to wait until you're an asset manager or an operator to do this. You don't even have to wait until you got products and services. Of course, if you got products and services, you want to sell them, but you can start this now. This is the structure side. So when you hear me talk about starting, and I help you start businesses, structure businesses, and scale businesses, what I'm saying to you is you can start this way, and when you structure it, you can already take your systems for sales, your systems for marketing. You could take your systems for financials. These are all the things, operations. These are systems and processes that you can already start integrating into this infrastructure. This is the start and structure phase of your business. You can do this now, just at the beginning. And the scale part is really learning to maximize all of this that you're doing, learning to make all of this mean something, learning to take products and services to the marketplace through marketing and branding and selling them, and learning your tax strategies, and learning QuickBooks, and learning how to track your income and expenses, and learning how to create operational processes that can be analyzed and measured in the form of metrics. All of this stuff that I'm talking about doing is what I teach people. This is why having a coach and having access to a lot of the educational courses that I have in my program is important, because think about it. You can get access to my courses, and I teach all of this. I teach you how to start and structure holding companies. I teach you how to build it out with divisions and subsidiaries. I teach you how to go through the process of taking your ideas and converting them into products and services. I teach you how to integrate these main systems and processes into your business. These are things that you gotta learn. You just gotta learn them. At some point, you gotta learn them if you wanna grow from laborer to operator to asset manager. So with that being said, this upcoming Saturday, as I mentioned, for 4 hours, I'm doing a deep dive on holding companies and creative tax strategies. It's my last public event of the year. I want you to spend 4 hours with me. All you have to do is text the word special to this number if you want to RSVP. And if you would like to take me up on my $197 offer. So I have 2 courses. One course is on holding companies. The other course is on creative tax strategies. Right now, those 2 courses are $497 a piece on my university training platform. They're $497 a piece. So that's $994 for those 2 courses, okay? I am offering everyone who RSVPs to my upcoming event this Saturday, I'm giving you these 2 courses for $197 because I want you to learn these 2 concepts and principles. I want you to learn this. I want you to get this down so that you can be an asset manager, so that you can grow your organizational enterprise. Because if you learn these things that I'm teaching you, and you start winning and succeeding, guess what's going to happen? You're going to keep doing business with me. You're going to stay connected to me. We're going to continue to grow together. We might even become partners in some investments in the future. So why not take me up on that offer? So for $197, not $994, I want to give you access to 2 signature courses. My course on how to start and structure holding companies, so you can learn all the ins and outs of how to start them and structure them. I have a do-it-yourself kit in that course that comes with walkthrough tutorial videos, documents and forms for getting your EIN number, your articles, your operating agreement, how to use the right language when you file and form your paperwork. And I answer probably hundreds of questions on all the concepts and principles surrounding holding companies, how to manage it. I talked about it yesterday. Some of the courses that I teach in that one course, some of the modules in there are on leveraging a holding company, 5 reasons for starting a holding company, 5 ways to make money through a holding company. I teach you about my SMS matrix, how you can position yourself in the marketplace as a consultant through your holding company, 50 things that you need to know about holding companies, managing the day-to-day operations of a holding company, the first steps in creating a holding company, and on and on and on. And I'm giving you a second course on creative tax strategies. You really need that before this year ends. So you want to take me up on that offer? Just text this word here, special, to this number here, so we can get you onboarded today. You can start training today, tomorrow, and Friday. So when you join me for 4 hours Saturday, you're going to already have an upper hand on what we're going to be doing. And if you have any questions, then you could be better educated on what questions you need to ask, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. So again, if you have any questions or if you just need more information, you can text special to the number you see behind me, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions, get you signed up, RSVP'd, and get you onboarded so you can start learning to become a real legitimate asset manager today. Thank you for joining the Ramonepreston Show. Please put in the comments what your biggest takeaway is from today's show. Like, what was the thing that you learned today? What's the big takeaway for you today? Put it in the comments. I would love to hear what your feedback is on today's show. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube page. Go over to Twitter. Go over to TikTok. Go over to Instagram, go over to LinkedIn, go over to Facebook, and please follow me on all those platforms. You can find me at Ramonepreston. I appreciate you. I love y'all. Thank y'all for being a part of the show and for being a part of our community today. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time, 12 o'clock noon Eastern, right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta on the Ramonepreston Show, the RP Show.